What's up, BassGorilla crew? I'm here to let you know I'm doing another masterclass in a few weeks, building a drum and bass tune from the ground up, every sound, live in front of your eyes. So I'll be covering how to make kicks, how to make snares, how to make shuffles and percussions, how to mix a tune down, 3 different types of basses, risers, loads of effects, how to write an intro, build, and a drop, just everything. Sign up now to get a super early bird special as space is limited.
What's up, guys? In this tutorial we're going to go through how to make a Reese patch in Serum using Cubase. I'll try and not use any Cubase plugins so that you can apply this to any other DAW. So yeah, any of the techniques that we use will be applicable elsewhere. But yeah, Cubase is kind of the DAW I use most of the time, so that's what I'm in right now. Okay, yeah, what we're going to make is something like this. That's a very simple version of it. We're going to embellish it and resample it further than that, but that's kind of the basic patch. So we're going to go through the master chain as always. First of all, it's just the normal Pro L with these settings and a span with those. So you can screenshot that if you want. Yeah, if you've seen any other videos, it's the same ones I use all the time. So yes, let's get started, I guess. I'm just going to open up Serum. I'm going to, usually I I make sounds in F usually. I feel that's a good midpoint that you can pitch down to the lower keys like D, D sharp and E. And as well you can pitch up to G sharp and A if you need to. That's kind of the range I produce in generally. Sub bass in C tends to be too low or too high, and yeah. So yeah, opening up Serum, we've got cheeky saw wave. The oscillator we're going to use today is part of the digital package, and it's in it's called iCan Has Kick, and basically it's a bass drum, like a synth bass drum, repeated over and over again. So if we pitch this down, you'll start to hear like a little kind of sine wave pitch down thing going on. So to quickly explain what that is, I'm going to get another instance of Serum up, and I'm going to get a sine wave. So basic shapes, we've got a sine there, so we get this same note, and we're going to apply an envelope to it. So this shape now is being applied to the pitch of this oscillator, which is a sine. So we want it to happen quicker. In fact, we'll apply an envelope to it because that'll work better. Let's get rid of that first one. Okay. So, want it to happen to a larger extent. So if we speed it up now, you kind of get something similar. It's obviously a different shape, but yeah, that's essentially what's going on with this chap here. So if we speed it up, you can start to hear it has a tone. Until you have that F. And then the Wavetable position maintains the same pitch, but kind of changes the wavelength of these bits here. Anyway, it's a cool oscillator, and just using the Wavetable position, you get some cool phasey movement going on. So in fact, that's going to be the first thing we do. So LFO 1 onto the Wavetable position. I'm going to make it so that it goes. If you go into the matrix here, this is basically where the kind of routing system for all your modulations. LFO 1 now, on the type here, if you have it unidirectional with one arrow pointing one way, the blue line will extend from the point that the parameter is at upwards, but I want it to have to span in both directions. So now the LFO will go either side of the parameter. So it's a bit too quick, so I'm going to slow that down, take the BPM off, which kind of takes the sync off it. Okay, so yeah, the second little trick we're going to do It's something I started doing a while ago, massive, but Serum does it better actually. I'm going to turn the oscillator off for now, and in this noise generator, we're going to apply a really quick LFO to the amplitude of it. I used to kind of listen to my favorite artists' tunes and stuff, and try and find moments where you've got just a bass sound, and have a listen to it and kind of break it apart a little bit. So I noticed with top end stuff, the really rippy, gritty stuff that Spore and Noisia do, and people like that, Cohen Sound, everything. The top end's got this kind of what seems like a really jagged, quick LFO thing going on. I'll show you what I mean by that. So in this LFO2, we're going to take the sync off it again. I'm going to create like a kind of sawtoothy thing. I'm going to apply it to the the amplitude. So while it's quite slow, it sounds a bit lame. But if you start to speed it up, you get this kind of really cool tickiness. I don't know if that's the right word. It's not. But when combined with the normal oscillator, you get something quite juicy. So yeah, I'm just going to apply that in there. Cool. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some filtering. So, just knock my computer there. Is everything alright? Cool. Yeah, I'm going to go on to Misc and add in this comb filter. This isn't really going to do a whole lot. It's just kind of applying this shape basically, which kind of boosts a lot of low end stuff. I'm going to probably take that off, but it creates this cool stuff in the tops. It just gives it a slightly different character. Takes a lot of the top end off, which will boost up again later on, but it's just going to apply a little bit more movement to the top end. So in the same LFO that we've applied to the wavetable position, we're going to create another one. And the same way, we're going to make sure it's going both directions, and we're going to flip it around, so while one goes up, the other one goes down. Okay, cool. So in the matrix now, the effects, we're going to add in some more filter movement. So I'm going to add in the EQ. And as I said, that comb filter brings up a little too much low end and low mids. It's getting a bit boxy in that region, so I'm just going to take some of that down with a gentle shelf. We're going to boost up the low end again later, so don't worry about that. So I'm going to create a little bell here. And we're going to have... we'll use LFO3. So we've got one movement with LFO1. We've got the noise generated kind of crunch with LFO2, and with LFO3 we're going to have a slightly slower movement. So on the frequency here, we're going to again make it, I don't know, dual direction. Yeah, it's going to go both ways basically. Okay, so that's obviously too quick. Now the Q is a little too thin, I think, and the gain's maybe a bit too much. Okay, so we've got some cool movement there, and we're going to add in a second filter, and let's take a kind of notch or something. I think this is going to do that. Let's have a look in our span as we're doing this, see what it's doing. So if we make a full dry wet, very resonant, let's have a look at what this does. As you can see, there's like a few notches going on. So we're going to bring the mix down and the resonance down a little bit, and apply the fourth LFO. And again, we're going to make sure that's going both ways. I mean, you could just bring it down and have the envelope go, the parameter move around like that way, but I don't know. For cleanliness, I prefer just doing it that way, because you don't have to move your parameter back and forth. Maybe it's not quicker, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Still too quick, I think. Luckily, Serum's got like a nice visualizer for how the parameter is being moved by these modulators. Alright, so we've got a cool bit of movement there. That'll about do it for the inner workings. You notice I haven't used any unison and stuff. For the crunchy tops, unison tends to start muddying it a little bit. There's no definition there really. there it is. You can start chorusing select bits a little bit later on with yeah, a little more precision. Okay, so I'm gonna close down Serum, and yeah, I'm gonna move this over here so we're not getting confused by other stuff. Okay, so let's give it a nice color. Serum, Reese, Juan. Okay, so first thing to do, I usually, as a safety net, have a Pro L with quite a lot of look ahead and a really quick attack and release. I'm just going to basically completely crush the signal so it's at a completely consistent level. So we should see this well into the red if it plays. And hopefully you won't hear much distortion because the compressor or limiter is being told 2.34 milliseconds beforehand what the signal's going to do so it can compress in time and not clip, basically. So let's have a look at the EQ of it now. So there's much too much kind of low mids here. It's all very boxy. Not quite enough tops for this gristle, and the sub is quite inconsistent. We'll probably have to replace that. So yeah, let's sort that out. So generally, I look at span whilst EQing in ProQ. That's kind of my setup. So let's give that a go. Looking a bit healthier. Okay, so next port of call, we're going to do we'll do another EQ for some movement, and then another Pro L. So, oops. Huh. Okay, so I'm going to do some notches now. In fact, maybe move both. Make a little bell but beneath the notch. Yeah, it's sounding quite cool. So, just going to put it on write mode and just record that. Let's see what that's done. Okay, so sometimes the first bit is kind of cut off a little bit. So let's try and make sure they're alright, so lovely. Okay, now let's do some trash. So I'm going to go into drive and try one of these. So it's going to feed in a slight, like a 35% of this distorted signal. Let's crunch it up a little bit there. And as I said, we probably want to replace that sub. So it's about the stage at which I do some resampling. So I'm going to lengthen it out a little bit, copy and paste the automation. The rest of it's just LFO based, so we should be good to go. Let's make some slight edits there. Alright, so we're going to bounce that out. This sine wave at the bottom is really flapping about quite a lot, so we're going to just quickly replace that one. I think, do we have a sine wave here? You know what, I'll just create a new one. So, let's get Serum up again. Use the same note. Oops. Quickly go to shapes. That's our guy, so let's just bounce him out. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly have a listen to these together. In fact, we need to notch out that frequency first, don't we? So there's a free plugin called TDR Nova. It's really good for steep cuts. So I'm just going to listen to... there's too much stuff going on there. Let's get rid of that, and this. Okay, so we're listening to this sound. We're trying to get rid of its sine wave. Sorry, it's fundamental. 44.2 hertz. So we're just going to keep bringing this high pass up until it cuts it off. Look at this guy. So there it is, it's gone. Okay, we're going to feed in this guy. Here we go, alright. Cool, so we're going to bounce those together. Serum, Reese, Juan. Let's get capital on that one. Okay, so now we're going to get a Kontakt patch up. Just go in here. How long will it take? Who knows? Oh, is it going to be quick? It might not. So we're basically going to import this new audio file in with the consistent low end sorted out. We might do a little more EQing. And we're going to apply some more filters basically. Kontakt's inbuilt filters and LFOs and envelopes and stuff are pretty next level. I feel like they sound better than anything else I've found. So I usually leave some filtering at least to the Kontakt patch, and then from there doing a lot of pitch modulation, kind of vibratoing higher notes and applying quick envelopes to the pitch of the start of the note to get a distinct kind of attack on notes. And yeah, there's a few other things you can do, like with formant shifting within the tone generator and time. I think it's Time Machine or something. It's like a time stretch algorithm that again allows you to play with the formant quite a lot, which makes some cool Cohen soundy stuff. Yeah, hopefully any second now it'll be loaded up and ready to go. Alright, so it finally loaded up. So we've got blank Kontakt patch here. So we're just gonna move this over here. And no, not do that. Okay, so we're gonna load in this Serum Reese that we just bounced out. So it's got a healthy looking waveform there, and we're gonna, by default, Kontakt maps to C3. So actually we're gonna put it to F3 because that's our note, and then move it to that. So in fact, put it to F1, shall we? Because that's where we're at. Or is that F0? There you go. Cool. So by default, the release is turned up. So I'm going to turn that down. That means that the when our MIDI note is stopped, it's going to end the note straight away. Okay, so yeah, a few kind of classic things I do. I apply an envelope to the pitch. So I don't know of any way of applying more than 12 semitones of modulation to the sound, other than just doing it quite a few times. So I've got an existing envelope and just apply it kind of 3 times over. So now I've got 36 semitones of movement there, and in this envelope that we created, we're going to create this kind of quick pitch down thing. So let's listen to what that sounds like. Sounds pretty cool. Yeah, it gives you like a very distinct attack and start point. So we're going to just increase the volume here, and get a Pro L as standard, kind of a safety net there with a look ahead, so that any of the modulations we do won't be clipping the signal, not audibly anyway. Okay, yeah, so it's time to start doing some more filtering, I guess. So I'm going to create a little EQ band here, just a bell. I'm going to apply an LFO to it. Alright, so it's going to keep doing that and kind of create little notches and stuff. Get as thin a bandwidth as possible, get another LFO, and have it go in the opposite direction to the first by inverting the sine wave. So if I go down to them, there'll be the speed of the LFOs is kind of controlled by this frequency knob. Starting to sound really cool, actually. And let's do a little bit of high-end tampering as well. So let's just get another notch. So let's get rid of that, actually. EQ, so nope, keep doing that. EQ single band again. I'm going to go make the frequency really high now. Now, if you really harshly compress the output here, if we're removing frequency content here, what's left of the signal is kind of boosted up, and it exaggerates all the movements we've got. So I'm going to put some gain increase here, so really crushing it, and then let's get a third LFO. Yeah, it's sounding really warpy now. It's quite cool. So let's start playing with the pitch a little bit. So we're going to go. This pitch bend here is applied to the pitch, obviously. So if we automate that in within the MIDI signal, we'll start to get some pitch movement, which is here, pitch bend. So if we draw in some stuff here, we'll start to move around. Got two going at the same time there. Alright. So I'm going to create another pitch bend source, so it's going to go 24 octaves up now at its highest point. Oh. Of course, if you pitch it up, the waveform is going to go quicker, so you'll run out quicker, but we can sort that out. So we've run to the end there, we're only halfway through the signal. Well, 3/4. So we're going to create a little loop here. So when it reaches the end, it's going to go reverse back. So at the moment, it'll just kind of get to the end there and start again, but we want it to reverse. So we're going to go on until end, and the little directional arrows will be pointing both ways. So yeah, it's sounding pretty sick. I'm going to take that off for now and just bounce a note, because there's something I want to show you. So let's Serum Reese 2. Okay, so we're gonna reinsert a new sound into this now. So we're gonna refresh this. All right, so it finally loaded up, and we're gonna reinsert this this new sound. Okay, so again we're gonna put it to F1, and just gonna stretch it out. So whatever note we press, it's gonna trigger it. So yeah, okay, now when we apply the pitch bends, all the modulations that we've put in there are going to speed up as well. So that instead of the LFOs being applied alongside the pitch, they've already been applied, and as they move, I'm just going to take them off for now. And as well, we don't want to boost the signal any more than it needs to be done, so we're going to take that off. So now if you listen to what happens, you get a kind of a Cohen soundy style pitch up thing going on. Okay, so the same thing's happening again. We're going to apply another sample loop to it until end. There we go. So let's apply even more pitch bending stuff up to it. So it's going to have 36 octaves of movement now. Let's move these over. We can even apply all these filters again, and you start to get a feel for the fact that this process can be endless if you want it to And there you have it. So that's all in mono still, of course. So if we want to get some stereo stuff going on, we're going to apply three sends to it. We're going to make sure it's not being sent out normally. So it's now being sent to these 3 buses. So we're going to create a little lows, mids and high thing going on. So XX lows, these little presets I've got, basically just a low pass there. And then the next one's going to be mids, so that's just the same point, 150 now to 1500, and then lastly XX highs or tops should just be the same, just 1500 upwards. Okay, so now we should have the same signal being split into basically lows, mids and highs. So I'm just going to type that in: lows, mids, highs. Cool. Okay, so lows we kind of want to leave alone really. Mids, we're gonna get some chorusy action going on. I think there's one called chorus CH2, which is cool. These highs, we're gonna compress them up. Cool. Okay. Maybe get a little more width on them, so get some more chorus going. And there you have it. Some Serum Reese action. Pretty tasty. Cool, I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson and learned some things from it. Yeah, have fun applying it to your own tunes.